What bring you to this point of teaching AI for design?
I've been a teacher and designer for many years. My first teaching experience was in 2007, and I started teaching UI. So it's my background is UI design, visual branding. Been working a lot as well for clients as a freelancer mostly. Then I had a few years at corporations in London, financial regulated companies. And then since AI, I'm again solo doing automations and AI adoption work. But I think it's a very good combination to be a designer and an AI consultant, because you actually can control the output, because the AI output is very nerdy. Even the AI engineers and then the traditional developers keep telling me that this is the golden age for design and product and UX, because incredible overload what you get from the language models must be controlled and curated.
Tell me more about the golden age for designers. Why should we be excited?
Because of course the AI can do a lot of design tasks, and even in a basic level can design a little bit, but the main thing is how do you deliver for people? So not everybody lives in a tech bubble like us. So we need to make AI outputs useful for everybody, even for someone who is on working in a construction site and they have just one phone in the hand, but they need to operate machines, and they should be able to use AI as well. And how do you deliver that language model output for these people? So we need to be the translator between that tech, AI, and the human, because there are people on the front lines, healthcare, high stressed, high regulated environments.
Always working in those two worlds, aren't they? Connecting business with people. And now AI and interfaces with AI is just like a touch point, another touch point, or a touch point of a new world, which is entering. And this, you just need to accept it, adapt, and learn, or otherwise you're going to get outdated. But I completely agree with you, especially with such low entrance to tech. We're going to see more and more products being developed. And I am worried about the quality as a designer of the outputs of those tech products. If, let's say, all will get an opportunity to design some interfaces, and the entrance to market will be so much easier. How would we not end up in a world with completely same looking products, leveraging this incredible intelligence, and yet in a way that it's not easy to adopt and not easy to understand? So I agree with you completely. I think as designers, we definitely should be excited, not scared by this technology and this opportunity. All that we need to do is just adapt and learn how to get the most out of AI and not be forgotten by the history, but like wave this. And that's what made me so excited. I don't think AI, and I think a lot of us can agree, is something that is just a trend or some like hype. This is going to stay. This is a new world. If we leverage this, we can become so much more effective as humans. And I'm so excited and I feel so empowered by these tools. I feel like they can help us, if used wisely, produce more and better, obviously with caution and the right knowledge and the ethic, everything that we'll be covering in our workshops and in our course. But this is all very exciting. And a little bit more on my background. I've been in design for 12 years. I trained as a computer scientist, and then I've done multiple educations around art direction and design innovation, and been designing ever since, product, services, brands, websites. And it's always been super exciting, but I think it's when AI entered the game, things got incredible. Like I can now speed up my research process from weeks to a day. I can brainstorm many ideas instead of like multiple workshops. I can do this with the right trained model in like a few hours. I can summarize. I can use it as my writing partner and thinking partner. I can offload all the information. and just use it when I need this. So I feel so much more supported and empowered in my day-to-day job, and I can see I can do more. And that's why I feel like I want everyone to feel the same. I want everyone to feel empowered, not scared. I want everyone to feel excited, not paralyzed, because it can be daunting. There's a lot of information. It's growing very fast. And I think you need people who can guide you. And that's why, like, another part of me, I've been always excited by like the teaching opportunity, and I've been teaching in like workshops and schools and from like service design, product design, but lately like design leadership and also now AI. Teaching is a big passion for me, and that's something that I love doing just out of love, not because of anything else. So I feel like, yeah, combining those two things together, I feel like really uniting yourself and myself. And this course is really a manifestation of purely our passions.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And I wanted to circle back to the previous thing that you told me. It's very interesting that you save a lot of time and you can explore multiple disciplines. And do you agree with that? So I have the feeling that the quality of work will be much better. So it's not replacing us, service designers, product managers, and so on. Because you can do a lot of things. You can try, you can test more. It means that the products will be much in a much higher level.
I am hopeful that we're going to see in an ideal path, we're going to see the rise of hugely personalized products, products that adapt to you, that know you, and products where designers can have more power, because we were limited to the shape of the product and how things look and UI, mostly interaction. But now, with such low entrance to code base with tools like Corso or Lovable, we can actually be more engaged in the full life cycle of product development. And I feel like we can control so much more. And exactly as you said, with AI being so unpredictable as well, when we use AI, we need to also like prompt engineer, which is another skill that we need to learn. So I think what I want to say, there's a lot of opportunities for us. It's so exciting, but the expectations of our role are higher. I think very soon we will be expected to deliver faster, to deliver higher quality work. And I think this is fine. We just need to be ready for it. And it's like it's growing alongside with AI capabilities. The expectations are growing, but also AI capabilities are growing. But we need to know how to use them. And I don't think we have a luxury anymore to not to be techie, to not to know how to code or how to read code, especially with Coursera. It's so much easier, like we've been talking before. It helps you to bug bash, understand all the errors, fix everything to you, explain everything to you. So I feel like it's just like playing with this and not denying that this is not going to be a part of your job. If you want to be the best designer you can be and be still in demand, this is the path, and I really strongly believe it.
You can try out different fields if you have the mindset. There was a guy who was talking about a hackathon. The designer was the actual researcher. That they swapped roles just randomly, and the developer started designing screens, and the strategist was doing a completely different role as usual, because AI made them unlock these opportunities for them to explore different ideas. And that's very interesting that you can pursue something that you always wanted to, but now you have a buddy, you have a coach. And with all three and all four that has been launched yesterday, you've got a PhD or PhD plus level of scientist next to you on your phone or on your laptop, and you can learn anything you want.
Shall we talk more about the new models? What do you think? How do you think that's changing how we approach things?
They're gonna always change models, and it will be always, this is the worst version of what you have today, because in 1 month, 2 months it will be even better. But what I was researching yesterday, that first the big context window opens up a lot of opportunities. So imagine the memory will be not infinite but much higher, so it won't make any mistakes. Very few mistakes when we are speaking about development. Or a lawyer can upload a complete case, millions of characters, and the AI will know all the beginning and the end and the middle. So it will, we don't have to do the tricks what we had to do before with the memory constraints. The other one is the thinking in images. So you can upload images to ChatGPT and it creates it as a human. So it sees. So you don't have to explain that, hey, can you see this map? On the top left corner, I have this and that. So again, there will be more opportunities based on images and text together. We can't even imagine how revolutionary it is, the image understanding.
I like what you said about the revolution. I think that's what is happening, the design revolution.
And
With
everything which is visual, even if you want to repair your wash machine, you can just take a photo and it will understand what you want. And it will be automated, it will be in your device or in the future. So if you just hold up your camera, it will know what you want to do. So are you lost, or is it your microwave is not working, or it will give you guidance based on visuals, what like in the science fiction movies in that level. And you can take your wireframes as a designer or product manager. I did it this morning. I made an experiment. I uploaded a user flow, just wireframes, very rushed. And I gave it as a sample that, hey, can you follow this branding? And it created the final UI based on my wireframes, production level, and
what GPT.
the new ChatGPT, yeah, with the O3, O4 model. But it's not scary because in the end, you must decide as a designer if you accept that. And you will see that a lot of companies will be lazy, to be honest, and they will get these outputs from ChatGPT because it's cheaper than a designer. But if you take the effort and add additional stuff, your product will be much better quality. So you will be competing with the AI, which will be never as advanced, in my opinion, because the AI is just learning from the past.
You not invent something new, completely new. I think the O3 model could even came up with a new informational architecture or something like that for the code base that surprised the GPT team. So I think some of the novelties we might expect, but I completely agree with you. I think we will still need experts. And coming back to like designs, I think you will need the designer who will still judge the quality of output and really decide like how to take it further, what needs to be fixed. It's still, and I feel like that's a very best advice that I would give to designers who are just starting, just trying the tools, the different tools, based on something where you are an expert and really judging the results. Because you can, with the level of expertise, you can really judge of how good the outputs are. Because unfortunately, if you do not know how to ask and you do not know how to judge and what is the quality outputs, you still will get generic answers. And I feel like that's why a lot of people giving up on the AI tools and not like leveraging them fully. Like for example, some, let's say, imaginary firm and one of the PMs tried Lovable, and she just entered design a landing page for my company for this feature, whatever, and just press entered. And guess what? It generated hugely generic landing page that was not absolutely to the standards. She didn't like it and she gave up. So of course it took some time to fix the prompt and upload the references and the images to get this right. But I feel like this is a very good example where people might give up too easily and too soon. And as you said, models are still developing, so they might not be at its best.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a great time right now to get on this wave.
Yeah, yeah. Reflecting to this, your colleague who used Lovable, my gut feeling is that design is the same in that sense as the developers are doing. So developers, the professional ones who are using different VS Code plugins and Cursor and so on, they create an implementation plan, they create a tech spec, so they work as a human hours or even days on the documentation first. And then they feed into the AI, and the AI will implement the human steps to do this using the exact libraries they want to use. So they don't give anything to decide for the AI. They decide as a senior developer. And this is the approach what everybody else should do, that you have to plan. You have to write a plan, even an hour long, for the AI, how to work, and then upload it. The documentation, it's usually devs do the MD, the markdown files, but it can be a PDF, a plain text document, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And exactly as to a junior designer, you need to explain all the context, your gut feeling as a designer, your expertise, all the human elements, and then you will get 100 times better. And it's not done by the AI. It's done by you. You just gave the boring stuff to the AI to do, as to a slave or what.
I really like what you said about AI, that it's an incredible alien intelligence, but you need to speak to this intelligence like to a child. Really be
Yeah.
specific, explain things step by step, give a lot of context. Because the thing, if you just ask a generic question, you'll get a generic answer. That's simple. So you really need to put a lot of efforts into explaining and giving context and like training that model to understand how you think, what you want. Sometimes people just don't know what they want. So I think this is bringing to one of the core skills that I think we want to cover on the workshop is would you call this a prompt engineering or a plan on how to work with AI? Because it involves quite a lot of things. You need to understand the tool. You need to understand which tool is the best for your task. You need to
Yeah.
plan the work and you need to ask in the right way.
Very good question. Prompt engineering is not going away yet. So people are sharing these tips, and every model has to be tested by us. So that's the best way, because you start prompting Gemini, the OpenAI products, then the Anthropic products like Claude, and so on. So it's the best way to do it is experiment a lot in your own time as a homework, and read the documentation and ask. That's why I didn't understand why Google published a PDF document, how to, like 70 pages document, how to prompt. But sorry, but I beg you that please use AI to teach people. That don't give us 70-page documents. Then the AI should tell us how to prompt. So I was always asking that prompts from the AI itself, that how do you want to hear this? How should I explain it to you? And that's the best way to prompt engineer, that it should be a conversation, like with a human, that until you get what you want. You can, of course, browse these PDFs and prompt documentations if you want, but the best is to experiment and generate meta prompts for yourself, and work with that. It's much easier because the AI knows itself the best, how to get out the best information.
I think one of the best things I've heard from you, and I tried and it really improved my outputs, it was actually writing prompts inside of ChatGPT or with like any other tool. So just made the tool to write the prompt for itself.
Yeah.
And I think the second thing is just giving a lot of feedback on the outputs, just explain and fine tuning until you get the results that sounds reasonable. But of course, as a designer, when I see the outputs, it's sometimes very difficult to make it almost like work harder. It feels like sometimes it would just give you the simplest basic answer, even after the prompting.
Yeah.
So, I think, what did you see and what did you learn? What are your tips and tricks in how to make AI work harder for you?
Go to the playgrounds. Everybody can use that after 5 minutes of browsing around in the UI. So don't use ChatGPT only, but explore more. Even the very niche models. Go to Hugging Face. You have free models from different countries and providers, and try to have an understanding, a general understanding how these models behave. But as people, they are all different. So it's not traditional programming that I type in something and I get every day the same, because sometimes they've got quality problems like capacity, degradation of quality, providers, companies doing background maintenance, and all these affect the output. So it's frustrating for a lot of people that it's not behaving the same way as a program, as a software.
Unpredictable. And that's why, as you said, a lot of companies resistant to incorporate them in their like core workflows.
Yeah, it's a mindset change. If you disclose this to your users that, hey, this is an AI generated content, there could be problems. It's doable. You need to keep in mind the qualities are going up and down. It's mostly very useful, but sometimes it's just lazy and like a real human.
And also have a bad day.
Oh, they have their bad days. Yeah, there was a rumor in 23 that during the holidays like Christmas, Easter, whatever, they slowed down because they were copying people from the data set. Maybe it's not true at all, but it can happen because they observe us and mimic the behavior.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you that what did you notice in your own work, these kind of unpredictability or outputs from language models?
I think one thing that is very clear for me is just how much obsession the AI models would have over achieving your task. So if you would give a goal to summarize, I don't know, a research and find specific insights to support this idea, it will go to a point where it might generate a lot of quotes that are not real, but they seem like real just to satisfy you. So you need to like really, I think, be very diligent and still cross check the outputs. So I think the big mistake would be to base any like serious business or product decision based purely on the outputs and people just rushing, seeing the results, getting excited, let's just do it. I feel like we need to have very strong guardrails and really reviewing the results before we take them as a reliable source that we can base our decisions on. So I feel like that's the first thing that I think is really, I feel like we're going into the mental models and how we work with this. And even with features like deep research, which I'm mostly obsessed about because of just how hard it works for you to review so many information and read so many articles, so many case studies for you and selecting like the top insights, that was a revolutionary moment for me, really an aha moment. And still, even within that, it uses a lot of citations and quoting different documents. But sometimes if you go into those documents and articles, you would see that it was a hallucination. It happens way more, not as often as with other features, but it still happens. So I feel like we do need humans to be that, like a supervision and curator.
Maybe there will be a point when this can be automated and they already cross-check each other. So maybe we should be talking a lot about this on the course, that how can you minimize the hallucinations. Of course, if you are a developer or AI engineer, it's easier to automate this stuff. But if just starting out, don't worry, because there will be methods to check the truthfulness of the outputs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think what really hit me hard is just the excitement of like why this whole workshop and eventually course was created is because in a short space of time, we would give people a lot of tools to try in a controlled environment. And basically, you will learn everything like you've been learning, I've been learning over like years in such a short space. And I feel like for people who are really scared to enter this area and this feels like really overwhelming, it's a good place to start because learning all the like basic stuff, I feel can really change the direction of your career. Like it's really a future proofing of your career right now. It's like I don't know. I see this as a vaccine that every designer should just take to stay relevant. And yeah, not waste a lot of time just trying everything yourself, just like learning from the experience and really practicing on a lot of tools with the right prompts and really understanding where AI can help you and where AI cannot help you yet. So there are certain tools where AI is like really, I would say, succeeding inside of the workflow. And sometimes, yeah, like it cannot generate like amazing UI yet.
You need a
And
tape.
yeah, it's still not impressive, but it can solve a lot of other problems. And I think it's silly at this point to not to use this potential.
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, so I'm excited to do this course, and because I love teaching people and give my knowledge, and I learn a lot as well in the meantime. So the best way to learn is to teach, as they say. And it's very exciting to see how people getting more efficient or happier or less frustrated working with AI, and it's an amazing thing.
For me, is definitely about empowering people. I can see a lot of designers in my team. Some people are scared. Some people are very having a lot of resistance. Some people just don't understand why would they use it and just use it as like basic writing partner. And I feel like I want to make people feel the power of change things, the power of staying relevant and staying exciting, and just actually making your day to day way more like effective and productive. And I think if you automate a lot of stuff, imagine that you do day to day, like analyzing long documents, and now you have all this space and time to actually be creative. I feel like that's a big win. That's a
Yeah.
big win.
You can focus on the human stuff and the more important stuff and not the repetitive, boring.
And I think human creativity is going to get more and more important because, as you can see, we have this visualization tools, for example, but yet a lot of outputs are generic. And even when everyone can create, you still can see that those are the experts who really create amazing stuff with AI.